Alrighty, so picking up right where we left off in this very technological looking tower place. So pretty much as we left off, we had just found the crystal of Earth, and we are bringing it to Golbez in exchange for Rosa's life. So that's what we're doing today. Um, so the place we are in right now is called the Tower of Zot, if I remember correctly. And the funny thing about the Tower of Zot is that it clearly exists in that we are here in it. Ugh. We are obviously here in the dungeon. You know, it's a place. We went to it. But you may have noticed when we left off in the last episode, the way that we got there was by following Kane's airship off the map. He doesn't take us to any particular location, and if you fly around the map for a while, it will be quickly obvious that the Tower of Zot is not anywhere on it. As far as I can tell, there is no such tower anywhere on it connected to any other location in the entirety of the Final Fantasy IV world. It's almost like Kane just kind of took you to a flying tower up in the sky. Maybe that's the suggestion that they're going for? I don't know. It's never really explained. It's just kind of like they conjured a dungeon from nowhere. It's very strange. And, there is a tower that does exist on the world map, that you can go around and see it. And initially you might conclude that that is probably the Tower of Zot. But due to plot things later on, it will become clear further into the story that that is actually a different tower. There are multiple high-tech towers floating around. So as I've been kind of chatting, I've also been enduring the encounters here because I do kind of want to get in some more experience points. Some fighting stuff. I'm not fighting things I'm getting back attacked by, which is happening surprisingly large amount right now. Didn't we run into ice enemies just now? I ran from them. So maybe I should change it to Fire Claw. See, I'm paying attention here. I'm strategizing. So the tower consists of several floors. And they're each kind of, they have this general size to them. They're kind of a middling. Wow, that really, yeah, okay, that was a good idea. I congratulate my good planning. And generally the towers are especially maze-like because they do kind of consist of these windy little sections. Does this do? No, that's bad. So I don't think we've ever gone into the Petrify status effects. Which you can see that Yang is slowly turning to... God damn it! These things are... It's like I breeze through the boss and then I get freaking destroyed by random enemies. This is why I get really tired of the encounters in this game, is because, quite frankly, they're really strong. Um, you can see I'm really kind of I'm legitimately kind of fighting for my life here against just an ordinary encounter, which doesn't really seem like a reasonable thing for the game to ask of me. Anyway, I was talking about petrification. So basically, the stone effect, you can see, will slowly move up his body. God damn it! You know, okay, this is... Wow. I'm really sorry, but I'm just completely thrown at how overpowered, how really ridiculously overpowered that encounter was. I mean, you saw me fighting like the ice lizzes and the centaur things. They really weren't that strong, and then these things, they're just dealing like 100, 200 damage melee attacks, and they just absorb hit points like friggin' tanks. That seems really out of place. Like, did they put the wrong enemy in there? It's like I kind of had one of those Peninsula of Power moments, but I wasn't. It was actually in a battle with a much weaker type of enemy. So I guess I'm just going to avoid those. That's really not worth it. This is... Like I said, if I have one complaint, I think that the encounters really get kind of relentless later in the game. You really just want to avoid them most of the time. How about I see if I can scope out these things' weaknesses. Even if this fight doesn't go that well, I will know later in the future. Yang has a claw. Does that do anything? Let's see. So I hit it with fire. Let's try ice. Anything? No. Actually, they don't have very much hit points. I guess that's just how you do it. Yeah, I was just really thrown off by that. But anyway, I will try one more time to finish explaining petrification. I think it's kind of clear how it works from what you saw. That the petrify effect slowly moves up the character's body. Is it a good idea to eat that? Probably. Is it? And when it finishes all the stages of petrification, the character becomes petrified. You actually have a pretty long time to the point where petrification is not usually a huge threat. You can see that Yang kind of went through 2 steps of petrification, and he was still kind of okay. If he had been like that for too much longer, he would have had problems. I think we should probably concentrate on the marionette. I don't know exactly what these things are. They show up a lot, and they're kind of portrayed as like wizard or puppeteer type creatures, but it's not clear exactly because they don't look like humans exactly. They almost kind of have this weird cartoon look, and I've never been quite sure what to make of them. Are they just kind of heavily... What the fuck just happened? What? Obviously, I've spent too much of my life running away from encounters, because I have no idea what's going on with these guys. What just happened? It killed itself. Okay, why did that happen? Was there some strategy to it? I don't know. That was weird. I guess it works out for me. Anyway, we should continue on, and this time we will avoid any vicious turtles. I can handle the centaurs. These things have like 400, 300 hit points. That thing was absorbing like probably a couple thousand, maybe. It was bad. I really don't know. I guess it's just kind of a thing where they kind of try to have a mix of like really weak enemies and really strong enemies. I don't know. It really just makes you want to run away from encounters. I guess it is kind of a flaw in the system where you really don't want to waste your energy. I guess this is where healing items would be really useful, and it's just I can't entirely blame the game for that when I think about it. You know, my own stubbornness prevents me from being as well equipped to deal with random encounters. But even just apart from the difficulty of kind of wearing out your energy, I don't think it's just that. I think it also is just that encounters get to be kind of a slog after a while. You're just kind of... a lot of the time, even when you are gaining experience points, you kind of feel like you're just kind of fighting an endless, faceless horde of monsters, and you know, none of the individual encounters really mean anything. And the way that Final Fantasy IV styles its encounters, they tend to be especially stubborn and difficult to deal with in a way that tends not to make it worth it. Also, yikes. Holy shit. Serves you right. Let's give the Cecil a fire sword. We're turning him into a fire paladin. It's like a paladin, but on fire. He took a lot. I think it like halved their hit points. No. But it did do a lot to him, so I guess he's just because his magic defense is probably low. God. You know, when you get right down to it, Tellah really is the worst spellcaster in the game. It really is kind of a difficulty at this point in the game to have him as your sole spellcaster, because at this point in the game, the MP pool of your mages really should be growing. Tellah's really good early on when you're fighting Octomammoth, and he has a lot compared to where Rydia would be in the game, and it feels like an advantage. But when you're talking about this point in the game, the problem is that Tellah hasn't really gotten any better. He's improved some. It's not a complete, inability to improve. But there are definite, he lags behind everyone else. He doesn't have as much hit points. He doesn't really have the ability to do that much. He's really limited by his MP pool, is the problem. I mean, even Cecil is kind of almost starting to catch up with him, and Cecil isn't a spellcaster. But yeah, it's just kind of one of those things that you have to deal with, is that having Tellah in your party is kind of one of the challenges that you have to deal with, where you have to rely on him for your magic power. And basically for me that means using him as a healing battery, because I need that, and I can actually get elemental damage from my other characters. In fact, Yang probably should have a Fire Claw on, since I decided to restart from before when I equipped him with the Fire Claw. I should stick around and fight the encounters, but I just I'm starting to become really wary of them because of my initial bad luck. How bad are these swords dudes? I don't actually know, so we'll scope these guys out and see if they're really all that bad. Yeah, go Cecil. I like this new sword. Okay, so they're not so bad. See, you can definitely feel that the turtles really have a power level that is above and beyond anything else in the rest of this dungeon. Jesus, fuck. Okay, but see, at the very least, you can take these guys out in one shot if you are using fire weapons. So I can kind of live with that. So you can kind of see there's a balance of... God damn it. There's a balance of freaking bullshit. Alright, I'm losing focus here. Okay. I need a tent. Charmed. I'm very charming. Alright. I'm not even that far into the dungeon and I already feel like this is where you run into problems, because in a normally, if we were talking about a properly leveled spellcaster at this point in the game, you would actually expect to have a much larger pool of MP to draw from. And I think because I am low on MP, I'm just gonna run from all my fights for the next while until I can find some kind of place to rest. So we will see about that. Epi girl? Epi? What is that? I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. Hold on. I sense my psychic powers indicate to me that this may be a place with a save point. My psychic powers suck. Okay, my intuitions about remembering things that happened before in the game are not bearing out, so I should just poke around till I find something. Come on. I hate you. I hate you. I was really hoping that wouldn't happen. Really, honestly, legitimately holding out hope that that would not occur. I know. Sometimes it kind of seems like there might be some doubt about whether I'm really as enthusiastic about this RPG as I claim. But it really is just the intensity of the random encounters is just one of the flaws I find in this game. And it doesn't really diminish it that much, but at the time it can be kind of obnoxious. It kind of... I maintain that this is a flaw in the whole system of random encounters, that I'm actually kind of lost here. Oh no, hold on. I have a bad feeling about this. I should heal up. Damn this game for forcing me to use healing items. It's a heresy. Am I getting more bang for my buck with this? I think so. Let's see. Yeah. Definitely. Okay. God, this freaking takes forever. Because of course it kicks you back to the menu every time. I guess that's another downside, is that the game is still very primitive in a lot of ways. There's definitely an improvement in later adaptations that kind of shifted towards, you know, more streamlined, modernized menu systems, where, you know, you can actually see the stats of an item when you buy it. You can cure multiple times in one go. It's just when you make a game this early in the history of RPGs, there's definitely going to be some aspects that are dated like this. There's really nothing you can do about that. But you know, you deal with it. It can just be slightly wearying at times. He should probably wear this because it says wizard. He's a wizard. I think that the logic of that is fairly straightforward, actually. Alright, so that was our big treasure hunt. You know, probably the fact that I did run from encounters so much was a big reason why I had so much trouble with the boss as a kid. I don't think I really had a grasp fully on the ideas of leveling up. I'm not sure I was really at the time aware of how fighting more monsters would increase my strength. I didn't really think those things through nearly as much as I do now, which would explain why I ran into troubles. So, let us run away from an encounter. Now then, things are going to get a little bit more interesting now. Okay, so this one is actually kind of an interesting boss. And you will see this right here. Yikes. So, okay, so this is the trick I alluded to a while back, is the fact that, you can attack your opponents by, casting a wall on yourself, and then, casting spells on the walled character. And it works like that. And one of the big advantages of that is that that spell is unreflectable. You protect yourself from the power of reflect when you do it this way, and that makes it especially difficult to defend against. Of course, now they are walling indiscriminately and the walls are bouncing off on my characters, which may have the unintended side effect of actually making it a little bit hard for me to heal, because the heals will bounce off my characters, so I should watch carefully for which characters do have reflect on them, because that may present some issues. So I generally go for Sandy first, because she's the one putting a wall on, and when Cindy's wall wears off, Mindy will just keep casting spells on her, which can be kind of funny. Yikes. So, okay, so now we're seeing that these bosses are starting to have some beef to them. We're actually having a little bit of difficulty. Why don't I actually use a bit of virus myself? Oh, Yes. It hits hard, doesn't it? Unfortunately, it does take a while for that to wear off. I think that his should have worn off by now. I'm going to take a bet that it has. Yes. Yeah. Jeez. Okay, we need to keep Yang up because he has been inflicted with sap, and he's going to continue losing hit points for the rest of the game. Or that would be pretty bad. The rest of the battle. Oh, you son of a... That doesn't make any sense. I forgot about that part. I admit, that's my fault. Okay, so... Luckily, it will be a little bit difficult for them to do much with their attacker disabled. Did Yang not... Did Sap... Okay, so Sap is temporary. I stand corrected there. Just for kicks, let's inflict virus on her as well. Yes, that is definitely a good idea. Okay, so now you can see that I think Cindy is the one with the most hit points. I don't think there's any point using Peep because she is probably immune. But if we hit her nice and hard with a lot of attacks, we should eventually be able to wear her down. And now I am out of magic. I'm so ashamed. Oops. That was a little bit dead. Oops, I was careless. Cecil, if you were to learn life, it would make my life so much easier than it is right now. It's getting old. Come on, die already. Yeah, I remember this boss fight giving me trouble as well, because it is actually quite difficult. You remember that the Dark Elf fight, all told, really was pretty easy. But now we're getting to a point where the bosses are really getting pretty hard to take down. They're starting to feel more appropriately boss-like. Stop that. Only I can use Virus. Virus is too awesome for you to use. Maybe I should take down Mindy just to lessen up the attack for a bit. See, because I don't want to hit Cindy, because then it'll just bounce off and hit me in the face. Ouch. That had to hurt. I'm getting nowhere with this. Okay, so we need to life back Cecil. People are dying all over the place here. How much hit points? Actually, hold on. Cecil has, Sid has Peep as a command. What's that all about? Ouch. getting old. Why? What is the big deal? What are you hiding that I can't see their hit points? That's really annoying. But I think if I can keep it up just a little bit longer, I might be able to... Yes! Okay, yes. If we just avoid doing anything stupid... Oh, no. See, now you're just not playing fair. Alright, let's just blast the fuck out of these two. You can scan your own allies. Okay, so Cecil is happily wasting his MP. Come on. Come on. Die. You too. Oh, that's clever. Wait, but he's... Doesn't make any sense. Whatever. Virus. Virus. A horrible plague upon you. Ouch. Actually, that wasn't so bad. She can't... Wow, that is incredibly weak. Okay, so we survived. So for all my complaining, I really do like that boss fight a lot. It feels properly climactic, and it has a gimmick that forces you to really think about it and to actually kind of have a strategy. Which boss fights like Baigen kind of did that, where you kind of had to focus on one guy. But this one kind of did push me a little bit harder, and it was actually the first boss fight where I actually kind of felt like I was fighting for my life. Not very much like the early boss fights where it's really very laid back. Oh, Cecil, you're so stupid. What did you expect to happen? I'm just watching for this one. Alright. Well, Tel is gone, but now we can have Kane join our party. And there we have 5 seconds of dramatic music. Alright, right at this very moment what we really need to do is make sure our party is all in order. She's wearing prisoner garb, which makes sense, because she was a prisoner. We have a lot of ruby rings. Give her one of these. And the leather cap. So let's give her... Is she right-handed? That looks satisfactory. And Kane is all outfitted with silver gear and a wind spear, so he's pretty good. And this is the reason we wanted to be prepared. Alright, so this is the third of the four fiends. Now, there is something very interesting about her name, Valvalis. Now, the problem is that this is a pretty serious mistranslation of what her name was supposed to be. And as this is based on the Divine Comedy, we can know with that's right, Kane is the one I needed to cure. Do I have time to hit him before he jumps? I'm guessing the answer is no. That was dumb. So the demon that she is named after is actually, and I believe for once I am actually pronouncing this correctly, is Barbaricia. Um, and the interesting thing about the Japanese language is that unfortunately it has a bad habit of sometimes getting certain letters wrong when transliterating back to English or other languages that use the English letters. And that is something that unfortunately ended up happening here, because pretty much every single possible letter in her name was gotten wrong. The B's and V's got switched, and the R's and L's got switched around, and then the end of the name just kind of got clipped, so that Barbarecia became Valvalis, which is really not anywhere close when you get right down to it. But those are just some of the hazards of trying to do a proper translation like this. So the fight itself, it's not going well. So Barbarecia's big gimmick is that she has this tornado ability that basically makes her kind of difficult to deal with. Does she have a counterattack? I wasn't quite catching that. But in any case, you need to deal with that because she gets pretty nasty when she starts her spinning ability. And the way you do that is with Kane's jumping attack, which I assume is because he kind of lands on top of her. You know, he bounces off her head rather than hitting the wall of wind/hair. The other problem with her spin is that as she is spinning, she starts throwing off tornado spells, which you've been seeing, and Ray, which causes it inflicts petrify. And this is putting our party in pretty dire straits as I'm trying to kind of keep everybody alive. So that's Tornado/Weak is kind of an unfair sort of ability, just because of the fact that it can kind of cut through any defenses you may have and just reduce you to 2 or 3 hit points, or 1 hit point, as the case may be. So it's especially bad for Yang, who has more hit points than anyone, and he's especially affected and just ends up losing 1,000 hit points. It's pretty bad, and in addition, she's no slouch in the physical damage department, leading to a pretty dire fight, all things considered. It's got the kind of beef that the Magus sisters had. Magus? No. But instead of having kind of a strategical gimmick... Oh, hey, I got her. Instead of having a strategical gimmick, she's just kind of raw power and speed, hitting you with all kinds of destructive stuff all at once. This is another one that gave me difficulty, believe it or not. But we were able to overcome, basically through the application of brute force white magic. Ah, yes, the last and mightiest of us. The final fiend of the elements is my favorite. He is the best, and I think that he is awesome. And we will probably get a chance to fight him not too far in the future. Well, exit doesn't really work that way, but we still don't really know where the Tower of Zod was. So... I don't know. Sid just kind of sits down and is like, this is gonna be a long one. There are always rumors about stuff like this. I mean, how else is the common man gonna learn about the dirt crystals? Oh, that's convenient. Alright. So, at this point, the game just kind of casts you off to pretty much you're just invited to kind of poke around the world and try and figure out where this entrance to the underground is. I figure that they did this pretty much to encourage you to, find potential side quest hooks and places that aren't really the focus of the main plot, but are interesting to visit. But like many other things, the manual actually does tell you where to go, which is how I know. The actual manual walkthrough does actually end when you enter the underground. So this was where I was on my own, and I did actually figure it out, believe it or not. So we will be seeing that pretty soon, and that will come next time. So I hope to see you there.